Hey guys, so in this video I want to show you some basic InDesign skills. We're going to cover things like how to set up your document, how to import images, how to import text, how to create layouts, and how to export the document. So what I want you to do is to open the InDesign, and once you open the InDesign, you can see this window, and probably you're going to be guys using slightly newer version of InDesign. I still go with the old one, but the difference is only visual. Alternatively, you can go to File, New, and click the document. But in this case, we're going to use this window. So we're going to click here, and as you can see here, we have some options of what sort of size to go for, and the intent as well. So in our case, intent is going to be print. Size A4 is going to be portrait. Margins are going to set to 5. And quite important about margins is that you want to create like this safety frame around the document, like within the document, so you would not place any important and sensitive information outside in case you're going to be sending it off to print and the printing company cuts off a little bit of the text or a little bit of the side of the document itself, and that happens quite often. So just to prevent that, you want to have some margins, and just to be on the safe side really. So once we click OK, we end up with a document like this. And of course we could have added more pages in there as well. We did not have to create one page, but I wanted to show you guys how to create and add pages on your document. So you can expand the panel here and right click on it. You can insert more pages. So we're gonna use 5 pages. Oh, it's at 5. Alright, so we're gonna add 5 more pages. As you can see here, we have the master page, the cover page, and then 2 spreads and the back cover. Of course, if we also can duplicate the pages, same way we created a new one, we're just going to select both of them and duplicate the spreads if we have a specific layout that we just don't want to redo and we just want to copy and paste it. But now we're going to go to the main page, the cover page, and to insert the image in there, we can simply go and drag and drop the image in here. So let's say look 3, yeah. So we can just simply drag and drop it in there. And what we might end up with is a massive image that is not kind of regulated by any frames. And even like if the image is even bigger, it's just going to expand through the whole document. It's going to be quite painful to actually resize it, and just quite complicated. So what we can do is we can click here on the rectangular frame button and create the frame. Once we created the frame, we can now place the image into the frame itself. So we're gonna go and place the image here. Yeah. What also we can do, we can move the image within the frame without you kind of moving the frame, and we can move the frame itself as well. But by clicking on the center, we can actually move the image itself. Also, we can fit the image to the frame, and by right clicking of the image, we have this option of fitting, and we can fill the frame proportionally. So the image will resize and fit the frame. Same thing we're going to do with the spreads here. We're going to create the frame.
And here we're going to create a frame as well. I want it to be slightly like this. We can reposition it and center it. Also, we're going to do the same thing in here. I want to create a frame in here, but maybe I'm going to do it like this.
And what I want to do now, I actually want to have the same frame over here. So I can click on it. I can click on the frame, copy it, select the page, and paste it. Now we can move the frame accordingly where we want it. So it should be slightly centered. Yep. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. As a back cover, it's going to be, you know what? No, it's going to be like this. So going back to the front cover, I want to add some text on here. So what I need to do is I need to click the type tool and select the frame. And then we can go and copy paste the text that we need to actually copy. But for this we're gonna do, okay, so it's Golden Heights. Yeah, we're gonna type in Golden Heights here, and I want to make it a bit more like I want to kind of bring it out a bit. So what we're going to do now is go put it in center. And if you guys have ever used Word, and obviously you did, the process is pretty much the same. It makes it super easy. You can make it slightly bigger. You can change the alignment. You can move the text around. You can change the color. You can change the font. And of course it goes here up to 72, but you can actually physically type in something bigger like 120. Press enter. It's going to be like this. And I don't know, but I wanted actually something, I wanted probably white. White actually might look slightly better. And then I really don't like the font. So we're going to click on it, select the text, and then we can align it a little bit. Yeah. And actually when you look at it, you can't really see the text. So it's really important to actually adjust the text, the color, the size, and the shape to the image that you have, to the content that you're actually publishing. So in this case, black colored white font doesn't really work. So I would probably go and change it to black. And it actually slightly looks better. But I decided to do something else, so we're gonna go slightly more creative with it. So you're going to create another font, another frame. We're going to paste the same text in there. And we did paste it, but since the frame is smaller than the text, you can't really see it, so it can't really fit. So that's why that's the reason why you have this little plus in there. So it just shows that there's some text outside of the frame. And here I'll try to use white and see how it goes. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this alignment. So we're gonna have it like this. Moving on to our spread.
Same way we did before, we're gonna just drag and drop the images that we want to add. I'll keep pressing this one. That we want to add, and I'm gonna place this one here, and we're gonna place this one in here. Same we're gonna do with the next spread. We're just gonna choose look 6. I'm gonna drag and drop it here. And to create some mood, we're gonna drop this one in there. I'm gonna go and use the look 7, or maybe we can actually, to make it a bit more interesting, we can use this image here, and then as a back cover, we can use something from look 8. No. Maybe look 5? No. Yeah, we're gonna go with this as a back cover. Alright, so we're done with this.
Now let's go back and actually adjust the images within our frames. So as I mentioned before, we can actually fill the frame proportionally, and that seems to be way better. So same thing we're gonna go and do here,
and we're gonna do here as well, fit frame proportionately, and here as well. And then here I actually like the composition, and I like how it looks here. Well, one thing that we're gonna do here is we're gonna add some text. Same we're gonna do here. We're gonna add some text in here, and we're gonna add some text in here. So now we're gonna go back to the document, and we're gonna copy some text. So Orange Green like River Island. Let's go and do this. I'm gonna paste it in here. In here we're gonna place the text. So Orange Pin Top, Sarah, H&M. Put this one in here. And here we're gonna copy and paste the credit, the team credit. Okay.
So now let's go back and format the text that we added here. Well, it looks alright, but I would like it to be more centered, slightly bigger. I would not suggest for text like that to go more than 13. And let's change the fonts to something more simple. Selecting the font for the text can take really long time, especially selecting the appropriate text, and you would find yourself actually scrolling through the text for a long period of time, scrolling through the fonts, selecting the one that you actually like. So I like this one, and it's not really necessary. Yeah. Have it as long as it's there. Same we're gonna do here. We're gonna select it, and then we're gonna go for the same font that we used previously. I'm going to center it. Let's just double check what size did we use here. It was 9, and I think here we're using 11. So yeah. Well, it's always not good to check and actually use the same sizing and follow the hierarchy. Now moving to the final page, we have the photographer, we have the makeup and hair. We need to organize text here. So once again, we're going to select all the text. In this case, I want to put it in the center. Arrange it properly. Oh, so now it's centered. Okay, I wanna make it slightly larger text. So probably gonna increase it by 1 or maybe even 2. I wanna highlight the important stuff. So photographer, hair and makeup, stylist. It makes it easier to navigate, and you can go directly and see the important information there. It's just the text, following the text hierarchy. It's just highlighting and creating this sort of structure when you're creating a design or a layout. So it just helps you, the reader, you help your reader to navigate through the text that you're creating. For all the links and Instagram handles, I usually use italic. And it just makes the text look slightly more organized. Yep. So we have created a 6-page, 2-spread document. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go and export it. You can also save it as a layout document, and you can save it on the other you can open it later on the other computer and just save it as just a process, and if you want to add or edit anything, you set it as a project. But one thing important to remember is that when you save it as a project, it doesn't save the images that you attach to the layout. So you always have to keep the layouts and save documents with the images that you're using there. So it's always useful to create a separate document, like separate folder for every layout that you're creating, and keep the images within that folder so it will work autonomously. So to export that, we're just gonna click File, and then we're gonna click Export. I'm going to select the desktop. I'm going to call it golden. As you can see, we have few types that we can save it as. And one of them is Adobe PDF Interactive. And what that means, it means if you have any active links in your document, if you want to have some create a document with the link, the clickable link, or a video, for example, you want to embed the video in there, then you should select the interactive. So when you save it, it will save with all the links and all the clickable information in there. Of course, you can't print it like that, and that's why we're going to use it as a print, because we don't have any clickable or active links going on. Once we click and select the type, it takes us here to the presets of the Adobe PDF, where we can actually choose the quality of the document and kind of regulate the size of how big the document actually will be. Because if you have like a massive document with loads of images, it might take a lot of space, and you want to be able to control that. So in general settings, we can actually select how many pages we're going to go for, or the range of the pages that we're going to be saving. And then another important thing is how to save it. Do you want to save it as a single page, or do you want to save it as a spread? So for the moment, we're going to use the pages. Now we're going to go to the compression, and here we can actually choose the quality of the images that it's going to be saving as. So high and maximum, it's actually quite good for printing, but it's going to take up some space. But it's useful to know where you can actually regulate the size of the upcoming document. So once everything's done here, it's selected as pages. Yep, we can go and export it. And you can see here it's actually loading. And when it's saved, it's going to open and we can take a look of pretty much what we did. So here we go. Of course, you can see the text looks slightly too big for the size of the image and the size of the page. So probably the better size for this would have been 6 or even might be 5. And just to show you the difference, now we're going to export it as spreads. So we're going to override it, and now we're going to save it as spreads and see how that turns out. When you're uploading, for example, to the issue.com or some kind of other online platforms, it is better to save it as pages, because when you save it as spreads, it treats the whole spread as a single unit, and then you end up with things like this, which is really good for the PDF presentation. But if you're uploading it as a magazine online, it's the magazine gonna do it for you, like the platform itself gonna do it for you, and it's gonna combine the both pages into the spreads. If you're gonna be uploading it as spreads there, it's gonna combine spreads into spreads, and you might end up with not a portrait orientated document, but landscape orientated document. And it happened with me as well a few times before when I was just not paying attention. So yeah, that is pretty much what you guys need to know to independently start using InDesign, creating your layouts, exporting documents, and so on and so on. Of course, there is Canva, which is pretty good, but it is good for the single page layouts only. And you don't have an ability to actually work in spreads if you need to create more than one page. And that's when InDesign comes in handy. Well guys, thank you, and I hope that was useful. And if you have any further questions or you want to learn something more, feel free to actually email me or text me in Microsoft Teams.